day in Piscataway. Great news before about Kasim being drafted to the Chicago Bears. One more time, I just want to reiterate how proud we are to wear our helmet, the Jersey Strong helmet, in honor of the Hurricane Sandy victims, and to have those 90 cities displayed on the shoulders of our football team today, and then all the police and fire departments that are represented on the hats of the coaches. It's really an honor and a privilege for us to be able to do that, and we're happy that we're able to do it. Also excited about the number of people that are here to see it in person, and hopefully we've been able to raise some money for some people that really need it, and going forward keep this at the front of the news cycle where it needs to be to keep the resources coming. I think we've just announced our most improved players of the spring, and these were not easy decisions. We had quite a few young people on both sides of the ball that I think would be deserving, but on offense, I felt Desmond Peoples was our most improved player, and that's not to say guys like Marquise Wright or Keith Lumpkin, didn't get consideration, because they did. But I think in the end you have to choose somebody, and I'm really excited about what Desmond Peoples did this spring and how he's going to be able to help our football team next year going forward. And then on defense, it was Ian Thomas, and there certainly were other players that were in the conversation. Guys like Steve Longa, Quanzel Lambert. Exciting to see them run around as younger players, and excited about the future of our defense. But I just felt that Ian Thomas throughout the spring was the most productive of those players, and I think he's got again a bright future ahead. And then our Frank Burns Award winner, which is really a toughness award. And when you lose players like Scott Vallone, Steve Baharnas, people that set the standard for toughness in our program, you need other people to step up, and that's how you know you have a program. And I think we've had a couple of those people step up, but our award winner is Marcus Thompson, and he plays that defensive end position, the R position, and he is as tough as anybody on our football team, and as tough as any player who's been in our program, for the last 9 years. So he's certainly well deserving of that award. And with that, I would open it for questions.
The offensive line configuration we saw today to start, will that be where you pick up when camp starts in July, August, whatever it's going to be?
I think the offensive line, the starting five the first day, it's likely we would start the same way we finished. It's not, I wouldn't say that is set in stone, but I think as we enter training camp, we're going to have probably a 10-day to 2-week window where we will be playing probably 7, possibly 8 players with the starting group and trying to figure out who the best 5 are. I'm confident that a guy like Antoine Lowry will come back better than ever, from this spring. I think he will respond to the adversity, and I'm also confident that guys like Keith Lumpkin will continue to get better and have a full lifting cycle in him between now and training camp. I'm excited to see where he can take his game.
Were you almost taken aback or surprised with how well Ian Thomas has played since moving to that position? How easily he's kind of picked it up and made an impact?
I don't know that it's been easy. I think there's always a learning curve that's involved, and there are going to be some mental challenges to playing that position for any player who just comes over from offense. Now, Ian's worked very hard, and he's minimized those. I can't tell you that I'm shocked by it. And Ian's a very, very talented football player, and I think I saw enough in our bowl preparation practices that I was confident that in time he would be able to really help us over there. I'd say in my mind he's a little bit ahead of schedule, but in my mind he's also not ready to play in a major college football game either. That's part of the reason why you have a summer program, and that's part of the reason why you have a training camp.
With Ayers out now for this game and James out, you start again in preseason camp. Do you think Peoples should be number 2 behind Huggins? Has he made enough of his opportunity?
I think we're going to see Savon Huggins, and I think we're going to see behind Savon P.J. James, Desmond Peoples are both going to get opportunities to run the football. One of the things to me that's come out of this spring is Michael Burton deserves to run the football, and I think going forward into training camp we're going to have to find out where those touches happen, what personnel groups we're going to be in to give him the best chance to make plays as well. But Desmond is certainly going to be slotted in to get some carries.
What have you seen out of the young linebackers throughout the spring?
I've seen guys that can really run. And when we recruit on defense, we don't sacrifice anything for speed. Speed is the first thing we look for. And Well, I'm really, really pleased that those guys look like they can run the way we need them to run to play this defense. Whether it was Steve Longo, whether it was L.J. Liston, or whether it was Quanzell Lambert. And I think the other thing I would tell you is Quentin Gauz's career is moving in the right direction as well. He's another player who has gotten better. I believe he was our most improved player last year, so that was exciting. But he has gotten better this spring as well, and I think we're going to start to see him as more than just a special teams player going forward into next year.
How you talk about obviously you don't have to lose Coleman, but the fact that you've got good looking wide receivers going into the summer, some new guys and some veteran guys.
You're never happy when injuries happen, but at the same time, those are things that we can't control. We don't spend a lot of time worrying about them once they've happened. Our job is to make sure that Brandon gets the best care and rehab that he can get so that he comes back better than ever, and I think he's on track to do that. Once they happen, it's critical that the other players step up, and we have a lot of younger players at that position who've had a chance to do that this spring. And Ruhan Peel, Carlton Agadosi, Leonte Carew, they have all stepped up. And I think that as they continue to learn the finer points of the position, and as that position group in general catches the ball on a more consistent basis, the guys that can catch the ball on the most consistent basis are going to be the ones that are going to get the most opportunities to play. They can all run. They're all very athletic. Some are taller than others. Some are a little faster than others. So the pieces will fit where they fit. But one of the job prerequisites for that position is to catch the ball on a consistent basis. And we certainly know Brandon will do that for us. And I think those other guys have made some steps in the right direction. It's exciting to see where they'll be in training camp.
When you look at Gary in the spring he had, what did you like? Where did you see growth in him?
I think he's a better operator, and that's an expression that my high school coach used to use for years. I'm sure he still uses it to this day about the quarterback position, because that's critical. That player has to be able to operate within the system. Now, to do that, he has to have the full knowledge and then be able to access it in a competitive environment. That only happens through time. And having the opportunity to play an entire season as the starter and then come into spring, I was confident that he would take the next step going forward, and I think he has. And now the most critical thing for Gary is where can he get to by the time we start training camp. He needs to come back to training camp a better athlete and a better quarterback and a better football player and a better leader than he is today, or we didn't do a good enough job as a program in the summer program.
Kyle, who's impressed you the most so far today in the Scarlet-White game?
It'd be hard for me to say that, because as the head coach at Rutgers, the assistant coaches keep me away from the game. I've been meeting with some recruits up in my office and some other people that are important to our football program. And the one thing I did say is I will be down there for the last 5 minutes when we get those young people from those towns affected by Hurricane Sandy and get a chance to coach them a little bit today, so I don't leave the field without coaching somebody. But I appreciate you asking.
Thanks.